Hello there. Today we're going to be looking at how to draw the yin-yang. One thing to remember about the yin-yang is it represents sort of like a balance and opposites. And when we think of opposites, we can't think of good and bad. Think of in math is +4 and -4 good and bad? Because what if taking away your loan is good? Adding to your credit card debt is bad. So they're just opposites. As we begin, we want to make sure that our compass is set so that the point and the pencil or pen are the same length. Otherwise it gets a bit awkward, especially when you're making smaller circles. Another thing we'll see is that the compass is like a measuring tool. I'll show you how to do this, and then what we'll try to do is the same construction, but with less markings. So if you're doing artwork, you don't have to erase as much. So you're first going to start with the main circle as big as you'd like it. Paper slip, I'll do that again. All right, and one thing we want to notice is the point of your compass is intentionally pointy, not just for grip, but because you'd like to see where the center is. You use the center a lot of times for constructions. So first thing we'll be doing is drawing the diameter, which is a line straight across that goes through that point. A good way to do it is put your pen or pencil on the point first, then line up your ruler. It will make it more accurate. And so we're going to apply something we learned about cutting a line in half. And I'm going to change to a pencil. What we learned about cutting a line in half is called the bisector, or a perpendicular bisector. And we're going to be doing that because essentially the yin-yang is going to create a circle half the size of this one. It's going to go under or over. And then another half circle that's half the size this way. So the first thing we want to do is cut in half the radius, or half of the diameter. So you imagine that's not there. We're going to cut the radius in half. That'll help us to position our compass. So we pretend one side's not there. We're going to use the center and the end on the right side. We're going to go a little bit past the middle. Otherwise you have a harder time making it accurate. We can draw an entire arc and then go to the center, but to save erasing, we can just actually draw a piece of the arc. We could have done that in the first place, and again, you could save how much you erase. So the next thing is to find the center of your radius. So if you line your ruler up, again, I like to place the pen or pencil first and then line up the ruler, make it more accurate. We can draw a line, but we really don't need to. We just want the point or spot to help us adjust our compass. So the final step, or I guess if you do some erasing, it's next to final step. We're going to position our compass so that the point is on one side or on the center, and the pencil or pen is where the center point is. So in doing that, we're going to draw your half circle pointing downward. Now, in order to do the other side, we don't need to do a construction because the compass is already set at the correct distance. So we can put the center there and the point will be in the right position. So now we're going to make that same shape or design going on top. So if we do a bit of erasing, what we have so far are what they call the seeds or the fish. And a lot of times we'll turn it this way. So another thing to keep in mind is we need to make the eye, the little round part, something like this. So in order to do that, we're going to cut the line in half of the smaller circle's radius and then cut that in half. So I'm going to go a little bit past the top, or I'm sorry, past the middle, and just make a small mark. And go to the other side, make a small mark. And then I'm going to do that on the opposite side. So again, we are bisecting or cutting a line in half. So my two lines or arcs didn't meet, two markings. So I'm just gonna, sorry, extend them a bit. And once again, I can line up my pen or pencil and find where the halfway mark is. So we're gonna do that one more time. So we're getting 1/16 of the original diameter, or 1/8 of the radius. So we started with the radius, we cut it in half, then we cut that in half. We're gonna cut that in half one more time. Oh boy, my compass moved. I'll just make the arc a bit taller or bigger. So this is going to be the length or distance that I would like to find to make my eye from here to here. So I'll adjust my compass. I'll actually put the pen back in very quickly because I want to make the eye with a darker pen. And then I will find that length. So adjust my compass to the length. We just found. So if you notice, my compass is pretty useful in the sense that you can adjust it by pushing these two down and open and close it quickly. Or you could scroll the wheel to make minor adjustments. So the last step, oops, I did write on this. So at the end, we'll show how you can use less markings. So once you do it once, you can use the distances that you have already made to make another version. Oh boy, I just readjusted it without thinking. All right, so we're gonna go to the center of the half circle or half sides circle. That's a semicircle or half a circle. I'm gonna put the point there, and I'm gonna draw the eye. And then I'm gonna go to the other half circle or semicircle, and I'm going to put the compass on that center. And I have the basic yin-yang pattern. So since I messed up here, I'll just make this one the one with some coloring. And I'm not gonna color it. I mean, that's really not gonna be something I'm interested in showing you. So I'll just quickly fill it in. We have one side with color. They usually use the color black or a dark color. And then the eye, I was gonna actually fill in the eye, I said, but I forgot what I was doing. So one of them you'll shade in, one of them you'll leave blank. The other one, you'll shade in the little eye and leave this part blank. So that's how we would make the yin-yang. It's kind of interesting. You know, I see a little wave here, and you think of sine and cosine waves, and it's this nice balance, and it's like positive and negative, yin and yang. They say, I believe, yin is like mother, for example, and yang is like father. So ideally, you know, if you have great parents, it's not good and bad. They're opposites. And Alan Watts was saying once he had learned, you can think of this as two fish trying to chase each other, but you also think of it as two contrasting colors. Remember, when it was all white, you don't see anything. If it was all orange, you don't see anything. And so they point out the idea that in life, you know, everything's a contrast. Everything is opposites. We need those opposites to understand them. Love and hate and good and evil, they're reference points. And in many ways, you know, we're references of one another. We bring out the good and the bad in one another, and we're contrast to one another. It's what makes everybody unique. But it's terrible because we tended to think as dark something bad, light as something good in symbolism, and you know, really they're just opposites. They're not good and bad, they're both just colors. So in order to reuse this with less markings, what we can do is I'll reset my compass with the pen. We can make it dark so you can see it better in the video. I'm going to realign my compass to the center because we want to copy this exact circle. This way all the dimensions are going to be ready for us. So I'm going to make sure I have it right on, and I'll just go to a new paper. I'll go all the way around, and now I've done the original circle. So the next thing I'll do is I'll see how far the small half circles are. So I'll readjust my compass. I'll readjust the compass to this half circle size. But we don't know where to do it. So what we'll do is we can use our pen or pencil and put it there, or a compass point, I mean. And now we have the straight line that we would be looking for normally. So I can simply leave the ruler there and put the pen on the center, and the compass I'll lean up against the ruler, and I'll let go of the ruler for a second. I will start in one direction, and then I can continue that and go to the other side and repeat. Going the other direction. Now, I will say that on the original one, I did make a mistake, but of course, you know, I'm just showing you the basic idea, so be very careful that you're doing your measurements slowly and check and recheck, and that's why it showed up here. So the last step would be to adjust your eyeball length in your compass. And to fill in your eyeballs. You'll still see where the center is because it made an indentation with your compass. And I'll do the last one. So, this is how we make our yin-yang symbol. You could turn it in this direction. And hopefully you enjoy making some artwork.